What's up, Melanated family? This is your boy Harrison, man, bringing you a brand new episode of my show, the Melanated Convo podcast. I'd like to welcome everybody for tuning into the show with me today. We're going to have a good time. It's a good Saturday. I'm feeling good. You feel me? Now, and I'm going to continue to say this until I have more listeners, till people are extremely clear about what I talk about, because I go through different things here on the show. What we do here at the Melanated Convo podcast is a few things. I like to talk about black businesses. We do a Black Business Spotlight. I think that is tremendously important when we look at the health of black people in this country. Like I always say, when we look at the amount of money we spend with other people, when we look at the amount of money we spend with each other, which isn't a lot, when we look at all of the things that we consume in this country, not looking at other races of people, looking directly at us, we spend way too much money outside of our community. So it's extremely imperative to me that I talk about black businesses. And in my worldview, if we all support black businesses more, if we have more black businesses, that'll raise the economy for all of us, and we'll be able to not only affect change from a political standpoint, but we'll also be able to just affect our families in a better way when attempting to create generational wealth. So supporting black businesses is extremely important to me. So that's one of the things that we do on the show, is we talk about different black businesses in the community. Like I said, it's always about not just supporting a black business, but it's a qualified black business, right? Now, if I'm searching for a particular product or service, right, and I see all these other races of people that may sell this same service, the distinguishing factor is not just that you're black, but you have a qualified business. So you have a nice website, your customer service is good, and the only difference between you and another person is the fact that you're black. Tiebreaker goes to you because you look like me. There is nothing wrong, family. We need to get this through our head, man. There's nothing wrong with supporting somebody just because they look like you. But at the end of the day, you don't want to give nobody your hard-earned money if the shit they're offering you isn't up to par, right? So I do my best to find qualified black businesses that I can present to you guys. That's one aspect of the show. The other aspect of the show is we talk about news stories. I take different news stories about things going on in the melanated community. Again, there's always a lot of shit going on, but I like to take the things that are interesting to me, the things that I can take a small news clip or a fragment of a news story and kind of bring up a bigger topic that we should be worried about, or I think people in my community need to care about. Also on the show, we have a topic at the end of the businesses, at the end of talking about the businesses, at the end of talking about the news stories. We also have a topic that we delve deep into, and the topic typically involves parenting. Well, let me back up a little bit. My bigger platform, this is the Melanated Convo podcast. My bigger platform is Melanated Fathers of America, which is a website / organization that I started. Being a father of five, I think it's extremely important that black men understand how important we are in our community, how important who we choose to have a baby with, how we raise our families, where we raise our families. These things are extremely important to me. So my bigger platform is Melanated Fathers of America. So a lot of the times, the topics will have to do with our kids, like the health of our kids, what they're listening to, what they do on a day-to-day basis, what type of schooling do they go to, the relationships we have with them, single motherhood. A lot of us fathers who didn't have the opportunity of living in the home with our kids for whatever reason. So I like to talk about all these things just so we can get a better understanding of how we can move forward together. Like the point of everything, y'all, at the end of the day, is unifying and being a united front when we have to deal with all these different issues that society places on us, right? So we like to touch on different topics. Now today, like I said, once I'm done with the news stories, once we are done with the businesses, we're gonna touch on the topic, and the topic for today is hip hop ruining your household. That's what we're gonna talk about. Like I'm a large fan of hip hop, have been so for the past 20 some odd years. It's the primary music that I listen to even today, being a 40-year-old man. But it's time that we kind of dissect the effects that this music may be having on our children and on our community, right? So that's something we're gonna touch on in today's show. So let's get everything started, family. I'm excited. Again, if this is your first time here, man, please do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the share button if you're watching this on Facebook. Share the video. Comment on the video. If you haven't been to the website recently, please go to melanatedfathers.com. melanatedfathers.com. On the website, we have History Matters section where we talk about different people, places, and things from history. We have in the news section where we talk about similar to the news stories I discuss here. We talk about different news stories going on in the melanated community. We have a community forum section where I have different articles and videos from different people in melanated society and black society that I think speak truth to power. So they talk about racism, they talk about gentrification, they talk about sexism, they talk about everything that we face in our culture. And in my opinion, there's a lot of black men and women now and in our past who have done a great job of speaking truth to power and clarifying a lot of the different things that we go through. So the community forum section will have a lot of those videos and articles. On the website, we also have a book of the month every month. I think reading has definitely helped me. I think reading is an important factor in our community. I think you need to make sure our kids read. We need to make sure we're reading books, and really regardless of what it's about, you just need to get started reading something, you know what I mean? So on the website, we also have the book of the month where I focus on different books each month from black authors. Eventually we may get to just authors from anybody, you know what I mean? But as my platform grows, we'll expand to including all of that, because really you can get a lot of good information from a lot of authors, whether they're black or white. So we have different books on the website from people, books that I've read, books that I'm aware of, you feel me? So go to the website today if you have not done so in a while. Again, that's melanatedfathers.com, melanatedfathers.com. Let's go, family. All right, so let's get everything going, man. Like I said, the first part of the show will always be black businesses, right? So today's businesses, and like I said, I do 2 businesses 2 weeks in a row. After the 2 weeks is up, I put new businesses in there. If you are aware of anybody in your community that has a website, like I'm in Sacramento, California, but when I talk about a business, I preferably want to make sure that everybody in the country will be able to access this business, that everybody in the country will be able to enjoy your products and services. So if you know somebody that has a black business on the rise, they can be well established or not, as long as they're in business, doing good business, and don't plan on faltering anytime soon, because I don't want to present your products to the public in 2 months from now, your website not up no more. That kind of reflects badly on you and me, you know what I mean? So if you know anybody who has a business who needs advertising right now, I'm not charging anything. It's just important to me that we get the word out of the people in the community that are selling products and services that we need. Like I said, family, we spend a lot of money outside of our community. It's important that we try our best to circumvent them funds, bring them back to the community, so we can get like a little Black Wall Street thing popping, you feel me? Now, for the first business, this is a sister out of Sacramento. Her name is Toya Barnes. Toya Barnes is a part of an organization called PureRomance.com, right? PureRomance.com. Now, this is pretty interesting, right? Because for a lot of us, if you're in a relationship, even if you aren't in a relationship, but you have a significant other, or you have somebody that you're dealing with, and you want to, and these are women's products. Men can enjoy them, but primarily it's women's products. So if you want to make sure you fresh for your man, if you want to make sure you sexy for your man, right? PureRomance.com got what you need. If you go to the website, not only could you get shave cream, so you feel me, when it's time for you to shave, you can get that thing right. You know what I mean? They have shave creams, they have body sprays, irresistible fragrances, so when you in that mood and you about to get it on with your man, he can't resist what you got popping, you feel me? Also, there's nourishing lotions, there's lubricants, you feel me, for men and women, so you can get all that on the website. There's essential oils to invigorate your libido, you feel that? To invigorate your libido and boost your energy. There's sex toys on the website. There is lingerie on the website. There's sexual wellness, so they take some of the sex toys and kind of give you tutorials and let you see how this can be used to kind of benefit your body. Also, it's like some real deep shit, y'all. And let's keep it real. We all having sex. We all have a significant other. We all have somebody we dealing with for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we figure out the best way to present ourselves to our significant other. The best way to make sure, especially for women, make sure your body right before you get into bed with your dude. You know what I mean? Now, if you into like bondage and role play, they got you there too, right? So again, in my city, we have sex stores, quote unquote. There are different websites that I've seen. I've shopped at them. I'll be the first one to tell you shit. You know what I mean? Different websites and different things like that sell sex toys, that sell different things just to get that spark going. You know what I mean? What if you've been in a relationship for a long time and, you know, y'all used to each other now? Y'all been around each other for hella years. You know, the fire ain't going the way it used to. these type of websites, these type of products can put that spark back in your relationship like that. You feel me? Now, another thing the sister wanted me to tell you guys is she is a part owner of the company at pureromance.com/Toya Barnes. If you put in /Toya Barnes, then you'll be buying the products directly from her. Excuse me. But she also wanted me to let you know that women can join and become their own CEOs too. So women can join this company and you can begin selling all of these products yourself. They have parties that they set up as well. You know what I mean? So now that I think about it, I recall back in the day where women used to have like the sex toy parties where they would invite a lot of women to their house and have all kind of toys and shit to sell. I think this is similar to that, but let's not act like we're not having sex. Let's not act like that's not a part of our society, a big part of our relationships. So do the thing right. Take time, get the proper toys you need just to create the most pleasurable experience possible. You feel me? So if you go to pureromance.com, don't forget to put in /Toya Barnes so my sister can get credit for whatever you purchase. You feel me? She has a Facebook page. If you go to Toys VIPs, that's TOYZ VIPZ, you'll be able to find her Facebook group. It's like an exclusive Facebook group for everyone looking to join the business, people looking to get more information about what she do. You know what I mean? So that's pureromance.com /Toya Barnes, pureromance.com /Toya Barnes. And this was interesting to me because as black folks, we're not a monolith. Like we do all type of, we have all type of businesses. You know what I mean? It's not just food or typically like oils and black or African products. That's a part of the type of businesses that we have, but it's a lot more to that. And this sister is proving that. You feel me? So if you go to pureromance.com /Toya Barnes, once you go to the website, you'll be able to get all the information you need about what they offer, about what they sell. Keep it real. We engage in a lot of these activities, so why not create the most pleasurable experience possible for you and your mate? You feel me? So go to pureromance.com /Toya Barnes. You can go to Facebook and find her Facebook group. You could probably go to Facebook and just put in Toya Barnes. She's local here in the Sacramento area, but regardless of where you are in the country, she'll be able to get your products to you. You feel me? So that's pureromance.com /Toya Barnes. Go to the website today. Make tonight the night. You feel me? Why not? Why not? Make tonight the night. You feel me? All right, now, next business. I found this business pretty interesting to me because I put out a Facebook post maybe 2 months ago asking people from that follow me on Facebook, hey, I have a podcast. I'm going to be talking about black businesses, and I had no less than like 70 people reach back out to me, right? And shit, I've been just going through the list. I go back to that post, go through the list, I click on it. If you have a website, if I see everything is still functioning, I contact them. Simple as that. You know what I mean? And like I said, right now, I'm not charging. In the future, I may. Something, you know, a small or whatever. Right now, I'm not charging. It's just important to me that I help my community by helping these people with their vision. Like to start a business is extremely hard. To make a business successful is even fucking harder. So if I can participate in helping you evolve, if I can participate in helping your business elevate to a plateau where you'll be able to take care of you and your family again, in my mind, I help you as a black person become financially stable. In return, that's going to help all of us when we begin to spend our money with each other, opposed to going outside of our community as much. To me, it's just going to benefit all of us in the long run, y'all. So this business I'm talking about now is Yellow Mountain Garden, right? YellowMountainGarden.com. This is a brother and his wife out of Cashiers, North Carolina. Didn't know there was such a place. Learn something new every day. You know what I mean? So they're out of Cashiers, North Carolina. Now they're pretty interesting because she has soaps and different things that she sells, like a lot of the businesses that I've spoke about before, like soaps and different things to clean your body that are more natural instead of the soap that we buy from the grocery store or whatever. But they also sell house plants. You look around my house, like I have a lot of plants. My girl has a lot of plants and shit. Most houses that I go into have plants, and for me, my mom used to have a lot of plants, and it just made you feel like, you know what I mean? It kind of helped the feng shui of the environment somewhat. I don't know what it is. I can't really articulate what that feeling is, but having plants around the house, the greenness, it's just a good feeling, you know what I mean? So the fact that they sell houseplants and they're not that expensive, so they sell houseplants, they have organic vegetables and flowers, they have different clothes and apparel on the website, and I thought it was cool that they have books on the website that can help you learn how to start your own garden, right? So when we talk about being healthy, because I know a lot of people out there are into working out, trying to be a vegan, trying to walk, run, do whatever you can do. I'm a big proponent of that. I mean, as we all get older, it's extremely important that we figure out ways to improve our health. Being black folks, we know that we have certain ailments that kind of attack us more than others, like diabetes, heart disease, different things like this, high cholesterol. And a lot of these things, I mean, just to keep it real, y'all, this shit is based on the food we eat. A lot of us are indoctrinated into eating soul food and all these type of foods. That was shit. That was slave food, actually, that we still actually fuck with. And I'm not telling you what to eat, but if you choose to be more healthy, I'm rocking with that. So they have plants and vegetables that you can grow yourself. Like I said, there's a book on how to start your garden. I know some people in my community that have their own gardens or whatever, and that's beautiful. That isn't something that I've tried, that I've attempted to take on yet, but I'm not going to say it's not a good idea. I'm not going to say that we need to be eating more salads. We need to be eating more greens. Like, we need to be infusing this type of mentality into our children as well, so we can live longer, like eating fried foods, eating fast food. Come on now. We understand the negative effect these things can have on your body if you do it too much. So I think eating the correct way, mixing that with a little exercise, mixing that with a lot of water, you know what I mean? These are things that I try to do myself. I fall short like a like a motherfucker, but I'm trying to drink more water. I'm eating salads throughout the week. I try to work out as much as I can. So it's important, y'all. I don't want, for any of us, like, I don't want to see none of y'all unfortunately pass away from some shit you could have prevented, right? You don't want to find out you have something going on with your body, just come to find out you ain't been thinking about it. You ain't been putting that much attention towards it. So come on, y'all. Let's be healthier. Let's figure out a way to make being healthy and make eating the right way fly, the way we do other shit. You feel me? So go to yellowmountaingarden.com. That's yellowmountaingarden.com. If you go to the site, it's self-explanatory. They ship anywhere in the United States. You can get your plants. You can get the apparel they have to sell. Again, you can get the books that they have about growing your own garden, the soap that the sister sells, because this is a brother, but his wife is the one who responded to me on Facebook, and she let me know that, you know, this is one of many businesses that they have. I'm going to talk about some of their other businesses in the coming weeks, but it was important for me to mention this to you because I think it's a cool idea. I think anytime we can make eating the right way, we can make growing our own food a popular thing. We know how in black culture, in melanated culture, we move the needle as far as what's cool in this country. Fuck what they told you. If ain't nobody told you that, that's the truth. We move the needle about what's cool in this country, what's cool and what's trendy. How about we make growing our own food cool? How about we make eating the right way cool? You know what I mean? So go to yellowmountaingarden.com, yellowmountaingarden.com, check out their products. And again, for both of these businesses, once you go to the business, because last week I talked about healthyrootsdolls.com. And I had people who bought the doll and reached out to me and said, hey, I bought the doll, my daughter loves it, and that's just a great feeling to know that I've influenced somebody to shop with a black business. That's kind of what it's all about, you know what I mean? But if you go to the business, if you shop with them, please go to your social media, talk about it. Again, I'm gonna keep saying this because as black folks, we got a bad habit of doing this shit. If you didn't like the product, it wasn't what you thought it was gonna be, came late, all of these things, reach out to them in their DM, hit them directly and let them know what happened. From everybody that I've advertised to you so far while I'm doing this show, my experience with them, my interpretation of the energy that they're giving me, they're trying their hardest to do this the right way. So if they fuck up, if they do something wrong, it's my understanding that they're gonna try to fix it. All you got to do is reach out to them, tell them the product was wrong, tell them what you thought it was, whatever the case may be, they'll fix it. Now, going on social media and telling the world that this is why you don't rock with black businesses because they always doing it wrong, they always doing it latest, hella ghetto, unprofessional. Stop that. Stop that. When Walmart do you wrong, when your local grocery store fuck up on your order, when your local food spot fuck up on your order, when you go to the Asian restaurant or the Italian restaurant or wherever, and they fuck up on your order, you give them a lot more leeway. Some of us will go and say, hey, I'm not coming back here. blast them out on social media, some of us. But primarily, you go back because it's local, because it's cheap, because it's right, because you like it, whatever the case may be. So give black businesses the same leeway you give everybody else. You know what I mean? So again, go to yellowmountaingarden.com, not gardens, yellowmountaingarden.com. Check out some of the flowers, check out some of the vegetables, the book they got on growing your own vegetables, the book they got on starting your own garden. That's what's up. All right, now, enough of the businesses. Let's go to the news stories. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading here, right? It's the article that I found, and I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. So I want y'all to bear with me because I think this is important. Right? This is an article. I was supposed to do this news story about 2 weeks ago, but shit, I'll be doing so much ripping and running. But look, so there was an article where a judge asked Harvard to determine why are so many black people in jail. Now, bear with me. Some of us who do our due diligence, some of us who take pride or just interest in learning about the societal norms, some of us know this already. So if you know this information already, bear with me, but this is for my black folks who may not know this information. This is for people outside of our community too. So if you're black listening to this, you're not black listening to this, we have this stigma sometimes where people, a lot of political pundits and others will tell me that the reason why black people are in jail or the reason why we're doing bad in this country is because we're inherently bad. Or black on black crime. I'm getting sick of hearing that shit, but either it's black on black crime or we are doing a lot of crime because the videos have crime in it. We're doing a lot of crime because we come from single parent households. We're doing a lot of crime because we live in environments that fester crime, right? And in my opinion, there's a slither of truth to some of those things, but primarily this is based on the system that we live in. So let me read you this article. So a judge asked Harvard to determine basically why are so many black people in jail. Now, granted, this study was just done in the state of Massachusetts, but I will bet you money that this is the same results you would get if you ran the same study everywhere in the United States. So let me read it. According to a 2016 data from the Massachusetts Sentencing Commission, 655 of every 100,000 black people in Massachusetts are in prison. Meanwhile, the state locks up 82 of its white citizens for every 100,000 who reside in the state, right? So you see the disparity there, right? While an 8-to-1 racial disparity might seem like a lot for one criminal justice system, nationwide, African Americans are imprisoned at almost 6 times the rate of white people. So in 2016, Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court Chief Justice Ralph Gantz asked Harvard researchers to take a hard look at how we can better fulfill our promise to provide equal justice for every litigant, right? Because again, we have people in our society who will ignore the systematic injustices that we face and just put the shit on us like we're inherently evil or inherently bad, and that's just not true. The article goes on to say, after gathering the raw numbers from nearly every government agency in the state's criminal justice system, examining the data, and researching the disparate outcomes, Harvard Law School's criminal justice policy program found that black people who were incarcerated received more severe charges, harsher sentencing, and less favorable outcomes than their white counterparts. They looked at more than 1 million cases, 1 million cases. They looked at more than 1 million cases from the initial charges through the conviction and sentencing and discovered disparities that cannot be explained by logic or reason. Let me continue. And again, normally I may read some stuff, but y'all need to hear this. Now, white people make up roughly 74% of the Massachusetts population, while accounting for 58.7% of cases in their data. Now, the study explained, meanwhile, black people make up just 6.5% of the Massachusetts population and account for 17.1% of the cases. Come on now, y'all. Now, some of the things that they took into account. Right? Now, what they found is the criminal justice system is unequal on every level. Now, again, if I'm preaching to the choir, I apologize, family, but I'm tired of black people coming at me because of the content I present, because of what I'm talking about. They come at me like we're inherently the problem, like we have this big-ass accountability issue, which, family, we all should be accountable. Humans should be accountable for their actions, but in this system, in this system, because again, individual racism, like a white person calling you nigga, a white person with no power saying something, yeah, to me that's more like prejudice. That ain't really gonna move the needle one way or the other. In this country, the biggest problem with racism we have is systematic. Let me continue. Now, what they found, okay, yeah, I read that. Cops in the state are more likely to stop black drivers. Police are more likely to search or investigate black residents. Law enforcement agents charge black suspects with infractions that carry worse penalties. Prosecutors are less likely to offer black suspects plea bargains or pretrial interventions. Judges sentence black defendants to longer terms in prison. And get this, the average white felon in the Massachusetts Department of Corrections has committed a more severe crime than the average black inmate. You feel me? Now it goes on to talk about the different disparities as far as thinking that black people are all criminals, which they go over some of the ideologies that are in this country. For instance, they say, all black people are criminals, and it's not that. What it says here is cops think black people are criminals. For instance, despite making up only 24% of Boston's population, black people make up 63% of the civilians who were interrogated, stopped, frisked, or searched by Boston Police Department between 2007 and 2010. According to researchers, this suggests that the disparity in searches was more consistent with racial bias than with differences in criminal conduct. It goes on more here. If anybody want to read the full article, I can post it for you. But here's the point, family. And this is what I want to tell my people. Like, if you got young people, because the system of racism is a complex thing, and it can get you in the educational system, as I'm going to read here a little earlier with another story I got. It can hit you just in being in society. You know what I mean? There can be racist incidents that you have to deal with, and a lot of it comes from the police departments, right? So it's important that we understand what we face in this country. And sometimes I like to read stats from white folks, because some of you niggas don't really believe it when somebody black just say, hey, it's bad. You need to hear it. So this is from Harvard, goddammit, that's saying, now again, this was just Massachusetts, but I'll bet my last dollar that if you go through each state in this country, you'll find similar numbers, right? So it's important to me to get an understanding, especially with the young people, right? Because we can look outside of our community of what needs to happen, and I'm always for that, and that needs to happen at times, but at times we need to look at each other. And for my young black men out there, this system is not set up for you, family. So if you involved in illegal activity, if you think you finna be selling drugs, if you think you finna be getting involved with shit on the other side of the law, understand that they have a system set up in place that's gonna harm your ass 6 to 8 times more than your white counterpart. So our parents, excuse me, family, we need to be talking to our children. Not just about how they need to do good in school and how they need to be like moral individuals, but if you have a child that has decided to involve themselves in the street culture, whether it be selling drugs, whether it be pimping, whether it be middleman and shit, whatever they out there doing, they have to understand that there's a target on your back, and if your black ass get caught, you gonna get thrown under the bus. And once you get in that system, everybody understands this. Once you get in that system, it's damn near like they got you. The recidivism rate, the rate of people who actually go back to jail is so hard because, in my opinion, the programs that they have in there, just the normal state of a prisoner isn't healthy for your mind, right? So you get treated like an animal for all these years or however much time you're actually in these institutions, then they just let you back out free, right? And most people turn to whatever they were doing before to get money. Because when you get out, if you're on parole, let's say you have a family of men that love you. Let's say you have a family of men and women that love you. And you get out of prison on parole. If those family and friends that love you are on parole themselves, you can't be around them, right? So they almost put you in a position where it's much easier just to go do some foul shit, which may ultimately put you back into the same position. We're not speaking in absolutes. This isn't everybody. We have some dudes who get out of prison and turn their life around and become great citizens in this country. That happens all the time. But in my opinion, not enough, and the system kind of sets it up that way. So in my opinion, of black people, we already got an uphill battle to fight with a lot of this shit. Don't make it worse by getting involved with no stupid shit. Now, it's easier said than done for certain people who grew up in certain environments. Like, I understand that. My brothers got caught up in that system. A lot of my family members got caught up in that system. I'm a black man who, and this isn't a one-off. A lot of us had this story. There was a time in my life where, I have, growing up, I had maybe 5 or 6 cousins that I would see often, right? Besides my 2 brothers that are older than me, right? I would have 5 or 6 cousins that I would see often. This is for holidays, this is for birthdays, just shooting the shit. When we were kids, we were around each other a lot more. But there was a time in my life when I was a freshman in high school when every male member of my family was in jail. Both of my brothers, all my cousins. My cousins actually did some shit together. 4 of them did some shit together. 3 of them did some shit. 4 of them did some shit together, and they was actually in there together, right? So I'm a 9th grade freshman who loved these dudes, who looked up to these dudes, and all of a sudden we at Thanksgiving and ain't no men there, right? So this is shocking to my psyche. Like, damn, is my family just bad people? Like, what's going on here, right? But when you look at shit, you see that we live in a system that is made to kind of railroad black men into this negative shit. So all my family out there, man, please, if you got a young man, because this Melanated Fathers of America is about the young people. It's about the kids. It's about the young fathers, right? Some of you older niggas, it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks, as they say. And I'm one that believes that, right? So for my younger dudes, if you got my parents out there, you got younger dudes, please let them watch this show. Make sure they understand that this system got a target on your back. This system got a target on your back, and the only thing you can do is try your best to walk straight and do things the right way. Even when doing that, you can still get caught up. Don't get it fucked up. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you because you get a job and do shit the right way that you may not have to deal with systematic racism, because it's not just in the prison industrial complex, but it can be at the job you work at. We just live in a society that perpetrates a lot of these things. But as a black person, what are you to do? Okay, so you understand there's a maze here set up to get you fucked up. What do? I say educate yourself about this maze so you can find your way up out of it, right? So I read this article, and again, I'm sure a lot of people who follow me, and I know people personally who follow me who know this shit already, but it's important because I'm tired of, I expect it from white folks sometime, but I'm tired of black folks telling me, niggas just need to pull their pants up. Niggas just need to stop killing each other. Niggas just need to, now, the whole black on black crime argument, that's a fair argument, but again, like I said in previous shows, if you're talking to me about black on black crime and your statistics or your energy isn't out of love, then I'm going to debate you on that, and I'm going to give you the counter argument. But if you coming out of love and you say, look, because of everything we've been through in this country, because of everything we're going through right now, because of the racism and the different factions of racism we have to deal with, it doesn't really behoove us to hurt each other, right? It doesn't really behoove us to be involved in gangs and all of these organizations who may have been started out on some righteous shit, but today they're pretty counterproductive. Can we agree with that? Can we agree with that? Because I'm having family members who are in gangs, knowing dudes who are good people, right? The system may call them a criminal or a deviant and all this other shit, but knowing dudes who are good people who just got caught up in this environment, but it's a layered situation because the gangs in the United States were started pretty much from black people wanting to defend themselves against white vigilantes. So they started gangs, but as they got deeper into it, as they got more tribal, then the murders begin to happen. Crack cocaine hits our communities. Now they're fighting over drugs. Now a lot of them got money. When you got money and power, that breeds a whole bunch of shit. So it's a convoluted argument, but as parents, we need to make sure our kids are aware of some of these things, man. We need to make sure our kids are aware that it ain't cool. And I'm gonna talk about, during the topic of the show, is hip hop ruining your household? We're gonna dig a little deeper in that too, you know what I'm saying? So, everybody out there, man, there's a systematic push to keep us in prison. There's a systematic push to put our babies in prison. Let's not be statistics. Talk to your kids about the importance of knowledge. Talk to your kids about the importance of having the right friends. All of these things are important. We're not just sitting ducks here. There are things we can do to combat this system. You feel me? So, all right, next story. I'm feeling good, man. Let's get this thing popping. Let me see here. Okay, this is the type of shit that I normally don't talk about, but I wanted to drive a point home. This is probably gonna be the shortest story ever, I promise you. Now, a lot of us have, unless you've been living under a rock, all of us who follow hip hop, follow pop culture, we are aware of the incident with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, right? So supposedly, because I don't know the true story, none of us do, right? That's the point of me talking about this. Supposedly, the sister and the brother were dating or around each other for whatever reason, and ultimately they get into an argument, which leads to Meg Thee Stallion being shot in her foot, right? So she's saying he shot her, he's saying he didn't shoot her. Here's the point. Like I said, this is probably going to be the quickest story in history. Here's the point. In my opinion, because in our society, the reason why I don't talk about these kind of stories, because we have this thing where we idolize celebrities way too much, right? Because a motherfucker can dance or sing or act on a screen, we kind of put them on this pedestal where they're above certain things, or put them on this pedestal where we're always watching them. Me personally, I don't give a fuck what no celebrities is doing, family. Not at this stage in my life. I got way too much shit going on to spend my time thinking about what but a particular incident with a goddamn celebrity. And this story brought that to my attention because on social media, when I'm doing my thing, posting my stories or whatever, I see a lot of people talking about this shit. And family, here's the thing. Simply put, this shit ain't none of your fucking business, man. Did you know that? Have you thought to, what if you were a popular person, right? Let's flip it on the other foot. What if you were a popular person, just by happenstance? You're doing something, you're real talented, you're a singer, dancer, fucking rapper, whatever the case may be. You get into an incident. Now, again, I understand being in the public eye, the public will speak, but we need to stop some of this shit, especially in black culture. We got way too much shit going on to give a fuck about a Megan Thee Stallion or Tory Lanez incident. You know what I mean? So what if you're in a position where you're a black person of influence? You get into a situation where you know the details. You know the details. And you go online, and you got thousands of motherfuckers talking about your business, and I'm sure a lot of times it's wrong. A lot of times it's misinformation being conjured up. Think about how faulty that is. Think about how fucked up that is, right? So I pray for both of these, my sister and my brother. I pray for them, and I don't give a fuck what really happened because it's none of my business. Now, granted, if Tory Lanez shot a black woman in the foot, that ain't cool. Like, just on some real shit. That's kind of feminine, you shooting a woman. I don't care how tall she is, how short you is. I've heard of niggas putting their hands on women, which ain't cool. But if you shoot a woman in the foot, it's kind of some weird shit. Kind of like some passive-aggressive beta male shit, in my opinion. But the reason why I shoot the brother some bail is because I don't know what happened. She say one thing, he say one thing, I just back up and say, y'all handle it. God bless you. I don't know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck happened. None of us do. Right? How about it's like nobody says I don't know no more. Nobody looks at something and say, I'll just wait until all the facts come out. I don't know what really happened. Everybody thinks they knows everything, man. Just because just because TMZ say it, just because you read it in a news article, that don't mean it's real all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can research things and get facts. But shit don't be the truth all the time. So my message to everybody, mind your fucking business. None of this got nothing to worry about your kids. Worry about your kids' success. You should be more worried about how detrimental their music is to your kids' ears, opposed to some fucking incidents they're getting into, right? And I was reading through some things and I see Meg Thee Stallion saying, you know, black women aren't protected. I don't like that narrative. They ain't protected by who? We can't take let's say the brother did shoot her in the foot. Sucker shit. If that actually happened, right? Well, and we need to get the whole story because what if he had a reason to? What if he had a reason to? We don't know what happened. But let's say there was no sensible reason. He shot her in the foot. This is a one-off. This is a silly nigga doing silly nigga shit. This ain't got nothing to do with all of us. You can't have this incident happen and say, okay, black women aren't protected, because I've seen several videos of black men protecting black women. I myself, if I see an incident happening with a black woman, I'm going to step in and do whatever I can. And I know a lot of black men like that. So we can't paint everything with a broad brush and saying because of this incident with these two people that all of a sudden black women aren't protected. Nah, this is a nigga that did some nigga shit too. This is a one-off, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So look, family, I'm not saying not to indulge in entertainment and not to enjoy certain things, right? We all need to let our hair down at times. We all need to be free of working and be free of business and just use the other side of our brain where we're just entertaining ourselves. I get that. But don't be spreading shit around that you don't know is true. Don't be coming up with all these conclusions about who's what and who did what. Well, you don't even fucking know. Don't put too much stock in situations where you have no way of knowing the fucking truth. Unless you know them. Now, if you know Meg Thee Stallion, then you got a leg to stand on. If you know Tory Lanez, you his friend, you probably got a leg to stand on because you talk to him. We don't know these fucking people, right? So that's the point of the story. Mind your fucking business. All right. Next story here. I'm moving along. I'm moving and I'm grooving. You feel me? I'm moving and I'm grooving. Last news story of the day. Now, in Canada, Calgary, Alberta, to be exact, a group of black students have been suspended. And get this, this is kind of this goddamn country, man. This is kind of weird. And I'm gonna get into a little debate about the word or whatever. But hear me out. So, a group of black students in Calgary, Alberta, have been suspended after their principal used the N-word. Let me say it again. A group of black students were suspended after their principal used the nigga word. N-word, that's some bullshit. After their principal said nigga. Let's put it on the table for what it is, right? In a recording obtained by CBS News, Leanne Anderson, the principal of St. Michael's Elementary and Junior High School, addresses the group of students and questions why they are allowed to use the slur. She says, so how come it's okay for you to say nigga, Anderson says in the recording. After the recording was posted online by one of the students' family members, the students were suspended. The principal is still working at the school. Now, Tania Van Brunt, a spokesperson for the Calgary Catholic School District, said the students had violated the board's school code of conduct that doesn't allow the possession, selling, accessing, or sharing of any audio or audio-visual recording of any individual without their consent. Okay, so you have a bylaw. You have a bylaw in your school, in the structure of your schooling. You have a bylaw that says you can't share a video, can't share audio, but nigga is cool. You see the twisted logic, and my point for bringing the story up is two things. For one, this is sending a horrible message to our students about the validity of the word and the horrible nature of the history of that word when used against us. This is sending a horrible message, right? And what I feel in general about the nigga word, let me just put it out there. I use the word. I'll probably never stop using the word. And people can debate whether or not the historicity of the word comes from Africa, comes from Ethiopia, and negus, N-E-G-U-S. Many people debate that the word nigga that we use does not derive from the word negus. I am one that believes that it does. When we look at the colonial powers of this country in the white men who have ran this country, I'm not against thinking that, like, a lot of our movements or a lot of our ideals have been hijacked. This could be the same thing. As far as even the Christian doctrine, a few weeks ago, I mentioned that Christianity is fucking up our community in America, and I mean that, right? But a lot of the figures out of the Bible come from Africa. That's a well-known fact. Horus, Aset, a lot of these figures that the Bible has taken and misrepresented to mean something different today. In my opinion, that happens at every turn in this country. There has been several incidents where the white conqueror comes and they change it to make it mean whatever they want it to mean, right? And this teacher saying, why can't we use it? I'm of the belief that there are white people in this country that are upset just because there's a one word. It's only one word. This is probably the most polarizing word in our country. There's one word they can use, or one word we can use that they can't use, right? So the principal is asking students. This is highly fucking inappropriate. So let's be basic with it. The reason, and this is my opinion, family, the reason why a white person cannot say nigga to me is because the horrible history of the word and how it's been used towards us. Plain and simple. Now let's get in context a little bit. Have I been in a community with Asians and Mexican kids using the word? In context, yes. Now this may seem hypocritical, but this is my position. They use the word in the same manner in which I use the word. I do not see anything derogatory about that. The reason why I say a white person can't say it, because my 40 years so far on this earth, I haven't befriended a white person and became so close to them to the point where I'm okay with them saying that word. Now, you may have a white friend that you've been knowing for so long, and you know for sure this motherfucker ain't got a racist bone in their body. That's a possibility. And you may say it around, say it with them, and not, I don't knock a black person who does that. Like, I'm keeping everything in context here. Now, what I will say, you should tell him, hey, this license I'm giving you is just for us. You can't really go out in the street and say that, because some black folks, no matter friend, no friend, regardless, you say the nigga word around them, they going on 10. Whether you Asian, whether you're Mexican, and if there are black people out there like that, I can't knock you because of the horrible history of the word. This word was used before hanging us, before before beating us, treating us like slaves. The connotation attached to that word, it just bothers my soul. Now, that's that word, but the N-I-G-G-A that we use, and I know older people will say that nigga means ignorant. Nigga means dumb and ignorant. Who gave you that definition? Who gave you that definition? See, I'm not using nobody's white definition to define nothing. That's why I say melanated fathers of America instead of black, instead of African American. I'm not using any of these social constructs to define who I am. And sometimes we have to take a step back and say, okay, who created the lexicon that we use today for a certain structure? Who created that? And if it ain't you, maybe you need to go back and determine, okay, what were you calling yourself? You see what I'm saying? So to my understanding, nigga comes from the Egyptian word, the Ethiopian word, nigas, and there's several variations of this word that's used. You know what I mean? There's several variations of this word that's used, but that's my take on it. You see what I'm saying? Other people in this is an ongoing debate in our community, but me personally, I'll probably never stop using the word. I use it as a term of endearment. I use it as a term of it just means so many different things when used the correct way. You know what I mean? And again, being raised in the community where there was Asian kids, where there was Mexican kids who actually used the word, I knew these kids and I knew how they were using it because context is everything, right? If I was a rapper, right? And because I seen Kendrick Lamar has, like many rappers, say the word in their songs, all in their music. He at his concert, bring a white girl up, she say the word. I don't know how big of a problem I would have had with that because you at a concert where people was just singing music. In the context of what you're doing at that time, I don't see anything wrong with it. But you see how confusing and convoluted the argument can get. But in simple terms, if I was somebody white, why would you want to use it? You know what I mean? Like the teacher's perspective kind of bothered me a little bit. Well, you can use it. Why can't I? Well, why do you want to use it? In what term? You're not. If you're not a person that got black friends and using that term as a term of endearment with your black friends, even some people may have a problem with that, but this is my perspective. If you're not using it that way, why are you an adult white person who wants to use the word? See? Because y'all use it anyway. Y'all use it anyway. In a derogatory sense, you know what I mean? So why can't we take the word, like we've taken a lot of the negative attributes you've placed on our community, we've taken these negative attributes and turned them into something beautiful. To me, nigga is the same way. You can disagree with me if you want to, but I'll probably continue to say the word as long as I'm alive. It's about context to me. It does not mean ignorant and shiftless. Show me that shit. Where's that defined at? You know what I mean? There's a Latin terminology of the word that means black or negro or whatever. You can go a lot of different directions in it, but to me, it's a term of endearment. It's the only term that can describe. It can be a verb, it can be a noun. It's the only term that describes a lot of the shit that I see or the love that I got for a black man. That's my nigga. Like they ain't no now. A lot of people in our society have gotten rid of using the word as much, and they'll use king or queen. I don't got a problem with that. I don't got a problem with that. I don't got a problem with that. I use the word. I use king and queen at times. I don't have a problem with using an uplifting word. But to me, calling your friend a nigga, that's not a derogatory word. Not necessarily either. You know what I mean? Because I'm of the belief, because people will say just it's a bad word, we need to leave it out, blah, blah, blah. Now, to me, the actions and the intentions of people is what I care about. To me, if we start calling everybody king tomorrow, if you called every black man and black woman king, in my opinion, if they have a certain mentality, they're not going to change their actions. You go in the hood, go to the hood where the niggas is gang banging and calling them kings and queens. Call them kings and queens. You think that's gonna stop him from shooting somebody? You think that's gonna stop him from participating in any negative activity? He ain't gonna stop doing that until he change how he feels about himself. Now, if you sit him down and have a conversation with him and say, hey, this is why I think you a king. This is why I think you need to start conducting yourself like a king. Excuse me. That's a completely different story now. So again, context and conversation matters in all of this shit. You know what I mean? Just because you call somebody something don't mean they're gonna start acting like it, but if you teach them a little bit, who knows? You see what I'm saying? So, shit, in America, white folks, I would say be safe, just don't say it. Just don't say it because I just qualified it with saying I don't have any white friends like that, associates, no white friends. So I'm not close enough to any white person to allow them to say this word around me. You say this word around me, we got to have a conversation. And if you get hostile, it can go wherever you want it to go. Period. So some people in our community might find it hypocritical, but so what? That's just my actual take on it. Let's talk about that too. In the comments, after watching this video, tell me how y'all feel about that. Do you still use the word? Do you think if there is an African history of the word, does that excuse us using it today? Can your white friend say it? Let's have a conversation about that. You feel me? Now, for the topic of the day, family, I wanted to come to everybody because this is something I think about a lot. Like being a man, or old, not older, but I always say that. But shit, I ain't no young nigga no more. You know what I mean? Kind of look like it. You feel me? I'm just fucking around. So, this is a conversation I have to myself a lot because I love hip hop. I love the lyricism. I love the wordplay. I love the beat selection. Like for me, a lot of hip hop artists are like real like artists, like a Michelangelo they're poetic. You know what I mean? I think if you wrote down a lot of the artists that I like, if you wrote down their lyrics on paper, it's art. If you wrote down their lyrics on paper, it's like nothing short of amazing. Like to be able to put words together the way they do, it's an art form and it should be respected, right? Now, when we look at how the hip hop game has transformed throughout the years, now there's always been maybe a small version of hip hop that we didn't like, or like party music or music that the lyrics weren't as deep. There's always been a section of that in hip hop. Now I will say, and again, there's several hip hop artists that I still listen to today, but I'm not a big proponent of a lot of the new music simply for the reason I just stated. The lyrical content isn't there for me. Now my kids, all 5 of my kids, enjoy hip hop music. Like they enjoy it at a high level. Most of the artists they listen to I don't like. We have a few artists that we may enjoy the same. They appreciate a lot of the older artists that I like, and they'll listen to it and appreciate it, but it's not necessarily something they're gonna put in their headphones, right? And I understand that. But if you have children, because this is what I wanted to get to, if you have children that listen to hip hop in our community, it's important that you teach them about the art form and where it come from. And it's important because I didn't believe this at first. Like my 4 older children didn't live with me. They would come to my house on the weekends. I introduced them to hip hop, all brands of hip hop, how everything started, and the moving pieces they're looking at now, who's who, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not so sure I should have did it in that manner because they would listen to what I had to say about the purity of the art form and the beauty of the wordplay and all this shit. But when they went home to their mom's house, they were living in the type of community that a lot of these rappers talked about. So in my opinion, if your children live in a certain community where there's drugs being sold, there's different negative attributes happening, it's a low income environment, the music just may influence them to act out some of the shit they're hearing in the music. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as to say if they hear about a nigga getting shot, they finna go out and do it too. But if they're in an environment where people are getting shot and people are having harm done to them, the music kind of justifies the actions of the inhibitants of the environment. That's my, so because look, if I could go back and do it again, I'm not sure how I would have did it, but I would have introduced hip hop to them in a different way. I wouldn't have just said, here it is, listen to it, and then talk about it. Maybe I would have approached it differently because even with my children, I don't like the effect of hip hop on their lives, when I look at how they live, then look at the music they listen to, and it kind of reflects that, right? Because we're aware that more white kids purchase hip hop than black kids, and white kids ain't gang banging, they ain't shoot nobody. They're looking at it from a bubble, like they're looking at, this is something that I've never seen before, that I've never been around. So I get to get into the world of black people for a minute, then go back to my own shit. You know what I mean? See, black kids who live in this environment, I think some of them may get confused with thinking they have to act out what they hear in the lyrics. Some of them may get confused and thinking, you know, I'm justified with treating women the way I treat them because the songs that I listen to influence that same type of behavior, right? And as I get older, we have to be honest with ourselves. Now, talking about pimping in music, drug use, drug selling, it's not good for our community, family. However you want to chop it up, it's not good for our community. Now, a young man who comes from an impoverished neighborhood, who's been through a lot of things, who's done a lot of things personally, be it negative or positive, and he has a skill to put together words. Now, when he uses this skill to put together words to talk about what he has done or what he has seen, I can't get mad at that. Everybody should be able to express their experiences, but it's a slippery slope between expressing what you've been through and what you've seen and glorifying those actions. And I don't know if a lot of our youth has the ability to discern if this person is just speaking about what they saw and what they did, or they're glorifying actions of others, right? Because what I'm 100% against is anybody getting on the microphone and lying. Anybody getting on a microphone and speaking about some shit they've never done, never saw. If it's something you just seen, you better articulate that shit in your rap, that this is what I seen happen, opposed to me being a participant. I think we got a lot of dudes in hip hop who weren't necessarily participants, but they can put words together better than the niggas who were actually participants. You see what I'm saying? But that don't give you the right to lie. That don't give you the right to glorify shit to our babies. There needs to be a balance. Even though I can find you some conscious hip hop, I can find you hip hop right now that doesn't glorify women or doesn't glorify treating women the wrong way, don't glorify pimping, don't glorify drug dealing. But big record companies, the few that we have left, that's kind of all they glorify. When you cut on the radio, you're probably going to hear somebody degrading their community in one way or the other. But they get us, the beat is so goddamn tight, some of the kids ain't even listening to the messages that are seeping through their consciousness, right? So as a parent, especially if you're a parent of young kids and you live in an environment that a lot of this shit's happening, I'm not so sure if you should treat hip hop like something your kids can just listen to. I would say pick the artist for them. If it's somebody that doesn't speak about us in a positive way and don't necessarily have a positive message, talk to them in detail about that artist, find out why they like it, then levy that with their actions, right? If you see them exhibiting any of the actions or any of the ways of the ways that these particular rappers act, you may gotta pull the music back, family. And that ain't even something that I had in my brain growing up as a young father. Like, I love the art form so much, I was like, they gonna listen to everything I listen to. You know what I mean? And today, being 40 years old, I'm not quite sure if that was the best option. So if you have younger kids who are intrigued by the music, make sure you had the conversations with them and make sure they know that some of this music, especially the popularized music, the music that we hear on the radio, if you watch videos, the music that's going to be big, not all, but most, has a negative connotation to the music. And my question to all of us is, how can this have a positive effect on us at all? If you talking about shooting niggas, if you talking about selling dope, pimping women, in society, none of this is really healthy. None of this is really healthy behavior. Can we agree that none of this is really healthy behavior? So if you listening to somebody who exhibit unhealthy behavior, how is that gonna help you? See, but I'm someone who loves it so much that I be making excuses for it to a degree at times. But I'm like, nah, man, I can't do that shit no more. If you know better, you gotta do better. You see what I'm saying? So we need to have detailed conversations with our kids about the hip hop that they listen to, and you need to be critical of the shit you listen to, even if you like the beat, right? Even if you like the beat in the hook, you need to be critical. What's good, family? you need to be critical of what your kids is listening to, right? We got way too many young men out here that's involving themselves in gang violence. We got way too many young men out here that think they hard, that when you bring up a job or you bring it up working, oh, that's some square shit, I'm a real nigga, all this kind of family. This is a counterproductive mentality to have moving forward. If we're all adults who feel like, I want to be alive at 60, I want to be alive at 70, you got to do things that are conducive to being alive at 60 and 70. Right? So walking around the town, walking around your city with your pants down to your goddamn knees, selling your little dub sacks here and there, talking about you trying to find a young woman to pimp, this is a horrible mentality to have. And we as black men got to be able to call these young dudes to the table, especially since a lot of us have perpetrated this mentality for hella years as well. Let's keep it real. You see what I'm saying? So hip hop in its pureness is a great art form, but we need to be careful about the messaging. And who else? Yes, I think it's systematic. I think that, like I was talking about a few minutes ago, brother, these record companies only put out certain music. Like, I think if we look at a popular artist, right, too many to name. If this popular artist bring his single to the record company, and this single is talking about loving black people, this single is talking about loving your mother, loving your father, that shit ain't finna get no play, family. That ain't gonna be your goddamn single. That ain't what sells, is what they gonna tell you. You see what I'm saying? That's why I appreciate a lot of these brothers who have decided to go independent, to not depend on a major record label and go dependent, so your message can be your message, and however you benefit off of that, that's cool. You see what I'm saying? But we in a society where women kind of contribute to this as well. We're in a society where the kind of car you got is the best, the brand name that you got on, all of these things is becoming a qualifying factor of who you are as a man, right? And these is materialistic shit that don't mean nothing when you leave, right? Check this out. My family owns a funeral home, right? So I do various jobs around this funeral home, right? So one of the biggest things that I've seen when you were at a funeral, and this could be a great person or whatever kind of individual this guy may have been, rich, non-rich, the crazy part is, I've never found out how wealthy or good somebody was doing in life at their funeral, right? They're listing everything they've accomplished, everything they've been through. You know what I've never seen on an obituary? Owned a 5,000 square foot house, had a whole bunch of Gucci, had a 500 You know why that materialistic shit ain't listed? Because it don't fucking matter, family. It don't matter. None of that matters to the grand scheme of things. But as older black men, it's up to us to make sure the youth understand you can be cool and have a job. You can be cool and don't wear fucking Jordans. You can be cool and don't have the nicest car with all the rims on it. Now, if you accumulate finances and you work hard to get your money, you can buy whatever the fuck you want to buy. That's not what I'm saying. But we got too many people in our community who can't even afford that goddamn car. You live with your goddamn mama. You live with your mama, but you got a Benz? Come on now, family. Why are you making sure you get these type? That's exactly right, family. Why are you making sure that you got these trinkets? See, to me, this goes back to how we feel about each other. This goes back to how we feel about ourselves. We live in a society that has been telling us we not shit. History books that tell you was a slave. Don't go beyond slave. Don't go to a lot of the kingdoms in Africa where you was kings and goddamn queens, where you was niggas. Like I was just saying earlier, they don't go back to any of that, see? So a lot of us, because of how this system has treated us, we don't know what to do. So we're doing whatever we can to feel good. Whether that's smoking, whether that's drinking, whether that's buying a car you know you can't afford, just so you can say, look, I mean something. Look, I'm important. You see what I'm saying? See, we need to begin to teach our kids that shit won't get you nowhere. You need to learn how to internally know who you are. That's why I am such a big proponent of history, because history has taught me that I am somebody. History has empowered me to the point to know there's men and women who look like me that was born in this country, born in Africa, that been through a whole bunch of shit, some worse than me, and they came out okay. They came out sharp. I don't give a fuck about what kind of car they drove or what kind of materialistic gains they were able to accomplish while they were alive. That shit really don't matter in the grand scheme of things, right? So if you or a black man who are not making sure you impute these messages into your children, into young people around you, you are doing a disservice as well. I am, I am, I like to kick it. I like to drink. I'll be the first to admit it. I like to smoke. I like to chill out. I do these things too. But there has to be a balance, family. I'm not going to allow my self-worth to be placed in a materialistic item, right? Because we only stunt on each other. My brother Zoe Williams said this, and this is real shit. We only stunting on each other. You buying that brand new car, you buying that nice ass car to stunt on niggas. White folks don't give a fuck about what you driving. You still a nigga in that Benz. You know what I mean? We getting these trinkets so we can stunt on each other. So we can say, yeah, when I pull up, them niggas gonna be hating. Dude, who gives a fuck about that shit? Who gives a fuck about that shit? I was just speaking a minute ago about the systematic endeavors we have to face when it comes to the police departments, when it comes to the criminal justice system. We have bigger problems than stunting on each other. Like your self-worth, black man, melanated man, is not caught up in what you got on your feet. It's what's in your mind, family. It's what's in your mind, family. That's the determining factor of what kind of person you're going to be in this world. You know what I mean? I'm tired of seeing little kids with Jordans up and down. What the fuck? Now, I'm doing a little bit of prejudging, I'll admit, based on what I've seen and what I know. But I want to see that same energy get put into other stuff. So if you're buying the Jordans, are you opening up stocks for them? Are you letting them see they can put stock in Nike? Same amount of money you bought those shoes for, they even have websites now where you can get partial stocks. If one stock is too expensive for you, you can get a fifth of a stock or an eighth of a stock. You know what I mean? Are you teaching your kids about longevity? That's true, family. We'll touch on that. It does start in the home and who they're being raised by. That's why I was talking a little bit earlier about our parents. Like, what kind of information are you giving across as a parent? In my opinion, every black household in America is like its own little country. Right? Think about it. You got your own rules, you got your own regulations, you got your own limitations. You have a matriarch and a patriarch of the environment that hands down the rules, and however they hand down these rules, whatever system they put in play, whatever actions they allow or don't allow, that's what you are going to go out into the world and exhibit. Period. Right? So like the brother said, that's why our homes are so important, but we need to do a better job, because sometimes some of us will get into, I see people talking about, you're voting for Trump, you're voting for Biden, these white folks is doing this, these white folks is, look, man, I'm the biggest proponent of being aware of who our enemy is. That's fact. Like, I don't have no bones to pick about the fact that I stand with my people, and I know who has perpetrated negative stereotypes on us throughout history. I'm aware of that, but we have a say-so in this shit too. Your household, ain't nobody running your household but you, right? So I'm tired of seeing little kids with Jordans on and all these outfits, but he can't talk. He ain't got no goddamn manners. That's backwards, family. That's backwards. That's true. So that's true. We do have, and the brother just made a good point, that we have 80 to 70 something percent of our households ran by black women, right? And if you want to get to the details about why that is, we have to realize that the systematic effort, the war on drugs, the prison industrial complex got a lot of our fathers fucked up. Got a lot of our fathers in jail, got a lot of our fathers in the pen. I understand that. But even with that being the case, we still have to say, okay, how can I be more accountable to my community? So if you a dude who know that there's a black woman who got kids in the house and it's just her, you would be behooved to have conversations with her kids. If you a righteous brother and you out here trying to do the right things, if you see her kids doing some fuck shit, say something. If you can have a conversation with her to help her out, say something. Because the brother is right. If you are a black woman raising a boy in America by yourself, that shit is difficult. Like, kids need the yin and the yang. Kids need their mother and their father all day. Let's not act like that shit don't supposed to be that way. But when it's not, right, for whatever reason, systematic issues, the dude ain't shit, he decided to go off, because every black man who not in the house ain't based on the system. Some niggas just ain't shit. Let's keep that real too, right? But regardless of the situation, what do we do to fix it? Those of us who see this as a problem, how can we remedy this, right? That's why my website, Melanated Fathers of America, is so important to me, because this is a place where anybody can go and you can get information about history, you can get information about what's going on in the community, you can get information about books you can read. All of us need to take on this same ideology. If you know single mothers, if you know kids, if you live in a neighborhood where it's a whole bunch of badass kids run around, do them a favor and read a little bit so you can teach them something. Sit them down, talk to them, right? Each one teach one type of mentality. Right? All we got is us. We can try to depend on these goddamn politicians if we want to, but they're not, newsflash, they're not coming to save your ass. Which politician has actually saved you? Which politician has went into office, presidents, has went into office, and all of a sudden our problems are gone? Or let's say 50% gone. This shit just don't happen, and probably won't happen in our lifetime. So what you can do is be a part of your community. What you can do is go volunteer. What you can do is be a part of an organization that speaks truth to power. What you can do is mentor a kid. What you can do is see a kid with his shoe tied, tie his shoe. Let him know the importance of of grooming himself, right? Maybe his mom, like the brother said, a lot of the households is just women. Maybe his mom didn't tell him the importance of grooming. You can do that. Right? Like, I'm not for just sitting around and pointing fingers at my people. I'm not for just voting and then going back to doing nigga shit. Like, it's a process, y'all, that we all have to be involved in. Right? And it takes you putting your feet to the ground and helping the fuck out. I'm tired of niggas online telling me, vote. Will you vote for Biden? And I'm not saying nothing because I don't really give a fuck one way or the other, but I'm watching you, and nigga, 5 days of the week, you talking about strippers and football and the new car you got. So what the fuck are you doing to help us? Fuck Biden and Trump. What are you gonna do? Black man, black woman, what are you gonna do to help us out? Sit on the internet and talk shit? Huh? Spread rumors about your brother. I was just talking about the Meg Thee Stallion shit. I had to bring it up because y'all keep talking about it. Shut the fuck up. That ain't nothing to do with you. Worry about your kids. Worry about your family. Worry about your community. Celebrities ain't gonna come save you either. I don't participate in the celebrity worship family. They niggas just like me. They get pulled over with a hood on. They gonna get treated the same way I get treated. We all the same. We all at the bottom of a goddamn slave ship pointing at each other. Talk about who got better privileges. Nah. The only difference between me and Jay-Z is money and finances. In the right situation, they'll pigeonhole his ass the same way they'd do somebody on my level. We all the goddamn same, family. But the question is, what we gonna do? Right? We gotta be critical. Like, I come on the show and I'm critical of white folks. I'm critical of politicians. But look, we gotta be critical of each other too. Right? We can't just see a whole bunch of nigga shit going on and turn the other cheek because they black or make excuses because they black. In the hip hop, going back to the point, in the hip hop that we listen to is detrimental. I'm listening to the songs my son listened to, the lyrics. I'm listening to the lyrics. Now, granted, some of these young men are telling their stories. They're talking about what they've had to go through to get to where they are. I appreciate a comeback story more than anybody. But sometimes it's just nigga shit. It's just foolery. We gotta be honest. And to anybody's ears, how is that gonna help anybody? Some of this shit, come on, man. How is that gonna help anybody? So I'm not telling you just to take all your kids' music away from them, tell them what not to listen to, but educate them. Educate them on what they listen to. Tell them, if you like this guy, do your homework on him. Where does he come from? Like, humanize him, right? Because some of these young dudes is regular young dudes. Like, they ain't as violent as the media make him out to be, or even as violent as they portray to be. Get to know who the guy is, you know what I mean? Like, get the context of what he's trying to say, minus all the stupid shit. And the problem is, if a kid is too young, they may not have the ability to discern what this guy is actually talking about. That's why it's our job. And if you see a kid listening to hip hop, and you explain it to him, and you talk to him about it, and he goes out and exhibits any of the behaviors that he listens to, take that shit away. Right? Anything that's not good for us, take it away. And that could be any part of our culture that we've become accustomed to. At some point, we got to say, okay, if this isn't beneficial to all of us moving forward and progressing, get rid of this shit. You feel me? So look, man, this has been another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the show. All the people who send me DMs, all the people who comment. That is really why I do it. That's really what makes me keep going forward, to know that people listen. Some people hit me and say, you know, I may not comment or say many things, but I'm listening, and I appreciate that, because we need to continue to speak truth to power. We got a lot of fucking problems in this country, and it's gonna take all of us to fix it. So get off the sideline, player. I'm tired of watching people who just want to talk about what's going on, want to get into the political shit and talk about that. My question gonna be always to everybody out there: what are you personally doing to better your community? You feel me? So you can find the show on Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. The show has recently been added to iTunes. You can go to iTunes, where all the podcasts is. You can go to Spotify, where all the podcasts is. You can go to iHeartRadio, where all the podcasts is. So anywhere that audio podcasts are found, you can find the show. Don't forget to go to melanatedfathers.com. Follow the website. Follow everything I'm doing. You can follow me on Instagram at melanatedfathers100 on Instagram. Again, man, it's been a beautiful show. I love everybody. I'm out.